Hello, I'm Lennie and today I'm here with Jason. In today's video we're going to just go over a few of the most commonly asked questions that we get here at Action in relation to farm sheds. And the first one here is what is the best bay spacing size for a farm shed?
Yeah, so bay spacing varies depending on the type of shed and what it's being used for. We find with hay sheds, bay spacing is between 8 and 8.5 metres. Seems to be most popular. Obviously with most hay sheds, say with the big square bales, they're 8 by 4 by 3 feet in size. So with an 8 or an 8.5 metre bay, you get your 3 big square bales with anywhere between 800 mil to 1.3 metres of wriggle room between the bales over the width of the bay for ease of loading and unloading, and also plenty of room for air movement between the bales. Also works well with round bales too. With them, often get around about 5 round bales per bay, once again with a bit of wriggle room per bay. So yeah, between 8 and 8.5 metres is most popular for hay sheds. What about machinery sheds, Len?
Well, I guess when it comes to machinery sheds, it's a little bit different, given that the size of the machinery that we see these days. So we're finding that bay spacings of 8 metres to 9 metres is probably the most common. However, given the size of machinery these days, we're seeing the bay spaces even beyond that. And when it comes to larger machinery, such as header fronts and air seeders and so on, it's common to have a girder truss or a double bay opening for some of those larger openings. Does that cover it, does it?
That's good, yeah. So in summary, essentially we can work with any bay size, really, whatever's required to working best with your operation and the purpose of the shed. We'll move on to which direction is best to have your shed facing, Lennie.
Yeah, I guess when it comes to shed orientation, the most common and what we think is the best is facing to the east. The main reason for this is because if the access from the shed is from the east, the sun in the morning is able to dry out the pad as the sun goes over. There's a couple of other options. Obviously, north facing is also very common. I guess the downside of that is we often in the winter there's a lot of sun coming into the shed, isn't there?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Obviously the other orientation being south. South is also quite common. It means that no sunlight will ever come into the shed. West facing is never recommended.
Yeah, that's good, Jason. The next question here is, can I build a shed near a property boundary?
The short answer is on farmland, yes you can. There is a few setbacks from a planning side of things. If you're within 5 metres of a property boundary, you will be required to get a planning permit, which is something that we do for you here at Action. We'll do the application on your behalf, as well as the 5 metres off a property boundary. There is a few other setbacks, isn't there, Lennie?
Yeah, there is. There's a few others that trigger a planning permit, that if you're within 20 metres from a minor road, 100 metres from a major road, 100 metres from a waterway, or 100 metres from a dwelling that's not in your ownership, they'll also trigger the need for a planning permit.
That's right, and once again, we handle it here at Action for you, so make the process as smooth as possible. And we do have another video that discusses permits, and we'll share that link on the screen now. Okay, so the next question we have, Lennie, is can I build a shed near a power line?
Yeah, I guess again, the short answer is you can. There's a couple of requirements though, in relation to distance. So the closest you're allowed to build within a power line is 3 metres. And then if you're within 3 to sort of 6.4 metres to be exact, there's a spotter required during construction of the shed. What about, can you build a shed under a power line?
So yes, you can build under power lines. It isn't something that the power providers endorse or recommend, but it can be done. So we have the power provider visit the site. They will measure the power line, and normally the setback or the minimum clearance from the power line is 3.7 metres. So we have that measured at the power line, and then we have the shed drawn up and ensure that the highest part of the shed is no closer than 3.7 metres from the power line. Once that's achieved, it is okay to build the shed in that site. As with a 3.7 metre clearance, mostly it means it's a yard cover or a lower shed, as 3.7 doesn't give much clearance for machinery or hay. But so the short answer is yes, you can build a shed under a power line, but there is some requirements that need to be met. So the next question we have, Lennie, is should I choose Trimclad or Corrugated Iron for my shed?
Yeah, it's a good It's a good one. It's a very common one. I guess there's two options, isn't there? There's what we call the traditional, what a lot of people would be familiar with, the older style corrugated iron. And there's the Trimclad or trim deck 5 rib. It's also known as the more modern looking option, which we definitely find is the more popular. It finishes off a little bit nicer. But yeah, is there any difference in the strength of them?
No, there's no difference in the strength. The thickness is identical. It just goes through a different roller, so it looks different. So it's just all aesthetics. So we do find the Trimclad is a lot more popular nowadays, being a lot modern looking compared to the old school corrugated iron, but both work well, don't they? Work fine.
That's good. That's a good summary.
So I trust this discussion answered a few of your questions. Obviously, we're only a phone call away, so if you have any further queries, we'll be more than happy to hear from you, and we'll look forward to speaking to you again in future videos.